He jumps into the most shallow water. I love that. That's using your noodle.
This is Sportscentre.
Hey, I'm Marissa Roberto, and we got a busy night on the ice with some amazing matchups. But the biggest one is a potential playoff preview between the Leafs and Panthers. Toronto hasn't officially clinched a playoff spot yet, but that's just a formality, as they're pretty much locked into third in the Atlantic. Although maybe locked isn't the term because they're 4 points up on Tampa with 9 to go. And anything can happen, but it's likely they finish third. And the biggest question that remains is which team they'll get in round 1, Boston or Florida. Only 2 points separate these squads heading into tonight's game. And the Panthers on the regulation wins tiebreaker with the Bruins, should it come down to that number. The Leafs are riding a high right now though. They got a couple wins in a row and they're 6-3-1 in their last 10. But for the final 9 games of the season, all eyes will be on Austin Matthews. The future Rocket Richard winner's on a 7-game point streak, and he's got 5 goals in that span. He'd really have to go off to reach that 70 mark though. But it's not out of the question. Back in December, Matthews had a 9-game stretch, where he scored 14 goals. And in February, he had a run of form with 11 goals in 9 games. However, scoring against Florida is not the easiest thing for Matthews, as most fans recall from last year's playoffs. Counting those 5 games and then 2 against Florida this season, Matthews has now gone 7 straight against the Panthers without scoring a goal. But all this time without a goal only means there's now more time for a goal, right? To basketball, and it was always building towards tonight. As soon as we saw the bracket, we circled this potential Elite 8 matchup and rematch of last year's championship game between Iowa and LSU, and a battle between 2 of the best players in college basketball, and 2 top picks in this year's WNBA draft in Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. We all remember the iconic moment in last year's title game. Reese hit Clark with the John Cena "You Can't See Me," and then proceeded to hit her with the ring finger. An iconic moment in college basketball history. Ugh, I just love how cool she was about the whole thing. I love how cool both of them were about that whole thing. That game set all kinds of records, as it was the most watched women's college basketball game in history, with just under 10 million people watching in the US. And there's a real shot that tonight could be even bigger, despite the fact that this is only an Elite 8 game. Now, LSU won last year by double digits, but this is a very different team, as their 3 top scorers from that team are no longer on the squad. And Clark is coming off her best game in the tourney, as she absolutely destroyed Colorado in the Sweet 16. Now, the counting stats are always there for her, but she turned it over 12 times in Iowa's first 2 tourney games, and only twice against the Buffaloes, while shooting 59% and collecting 15 dimes. That's unreal. You can watch Iowa and LSU tonight on TSN. Coverage begins at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. And when that's done, we got another banger of a matchup, as Paige Beckers and UConn take on Juju Watkins and USC. Time now for my favorite segment, and yours, Why We Love Sports Today.
Why we love sports today.
And that was from a snowboard basketball challenge that Red Bull put on. And I gotta say, it lived up to the hype. Okay, that was sick. First of all, if you don't snowboard, you don't realize how hard snowboarding is, okay? Never mind adding basketball to this. Whoa, sick! Okay, come on. Anna, let's go. Oh, didn't get it in. Nor. Whoa, no! Now we gotta talk strategy. Whoa, with the assist! Let's go! This is so fun. See, this is what we need to do bar down winter games. We gotta get Corwin to do something like this. I feel like he could do it. Okay, wait, they brought beer pong into this? Look at these huge cups. No, that's sick. I've never seen pong played with a basketball before. Where do they get these cups? Oh God, this is so fun. Just imagine being amazing at snowboarding, getting all your friends together and playing games like this. Please, okay? In another lifetime for me, maybe. And we finish with a very unique way to watch a horse race. Oh, little man has a feature. Oh my God. This is so messed up, dude. Come on. Is this how they train for real? I'm sorry, I wasn't expecting that. To the association, we got some huge news this morning, as Joel Embiid is nearing a comeback, with Shams adding he could be back as early as tomorrow against the Thunder, as he's completed multiple 5-on-5 scrimmages over the past few days. Embiid, who was the MVP favorite for most of the season, has been out since January 30th with a meniscus injury. And this return comes at a time when Philly really needs it, as they've fallen all the way to 8th in the Eastern Conference. And if the playoffs start today, they'd be taking on the Heat in the play-in. All right, now joined by Claire Hanna, who's in Albany. Great to see you, Claire. Thanks for joining us.
Hello from Albany, Marissa.
It's a matchup everybody wanted to see, Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese. Set the scene for us there in Albany.
Well, not only is this a matchup between Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, it's also a rematch of last year's national championship final, which over 12 million people tuned in to view. And both coaches for LSU and Iowa are actually wondering why they're meeting so early in the tournament, because this could easily be a matchup that people would want to see in the Final Four. But no doubt there's going to be a lot of people tuning in, and that's because Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark are two magnetic players. They have been opponents since high school. They're fierce competitors, they're passionate about the game, and they love to trash talk. And some people are even comparing their rivalry to Larry Bird and Magic Johnson.
Ooh, those are heavy names to throw in for comparison. I also love all the press conferences that they've been doing as well. I love the attention these women are getting. What does this game mean to the legacy of Caitlin Clark, though?
Well, there's really only one thing left for Caitlin Clark to do in her NCAA career, and that's win a national championship. She came so close last year as the Iowa Hawkeyes lost to the LSU Tigers in that final, but she has set so many records that might never get broken. She's broken the single season record for points scored. That was actually done in this tournament. And earlier this year, she set the new record for all-time points leader in the NCAA, male or female. So if she can win this national title, she's kind of done it all. But even if she doesn't, she has brought women's basketball to a whole new level of popularity.
I'm noticing all the people following her around, especially with your stories that you've been posting. I love your coverage, Claire Hanna. Speaking of that, can we expect more fire TikToks from you and cameraman Dave?
You know, Marissa, nobody knows me like Dave does, so we might have to do some more.
All right, I'll be watching over those. Thanks, Claire.
Thanks, Marissa.
And just a reminder, you can watch LSU and Iowa tonight on TSN. Coverage begins at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. And when that's done, it's Paige Beckers against Juju Watkins as UConn takes on USC. That's all for today. We'll see you up again tomorrow at 3 Eastern, no Pacific. Have a good one.